some of the guys that we brought in. And the first one is Elijhah Badger from Florida. Also played at Arizona State for 2 years. Badger led his team in receiving yards in 3 straight seasons and was invited to the combine. In Indianapolis, he ran a 4.43, 6'1", 200 pounds with a 10-yard split in the 63 percentile and vertical in the 48th percentile of his position. Played outside 75% of his snaps in college where press coverage is more prevalent. Badger caught essentially everything in college with just 8 drops on 271 targets. 8 drops on 271 targets. The cherry on top was how effortlessly efficient he was after the catch, routinely bouncing off tacklers and knifing through the defense on screens or comebacks. Badger was credited with 64 missed tackles forced on 181 career snags in the Pac-12 and SEC. So a guy like that, and a lot of people thought he was going to be an early day 3 pick or maybe a 6th round, 5th round day 3 pick because of his 40 time, because of his kind of, just his body type. I mean, and what he has shown. And also, too, return-wise as well. At Arizona State, he did more of the returning than he did at Florida. But right there, it looks like 20 attempts for about 578 yards on kickoffs. Pretty good average there. But, JD, this is the first of the 3 guys we're going to talk about tonight. But what do you make of the Elijhah Badger signing? I think, just his measurable – look at the measurables and the yards after contact, the missed tackles. I think that he fits the offense really well as far as that goes. They like guys he good quick slants to, and he can and force missed tackles.
Yeah, watched a little bit on this guy. I think he's a ball player. I think what they were probably part of the problem might have been just production wise. Last year, I think that was kind of the head scratcher, especially like you see up here, right? He was at Arizona State. He has 70 receptions, and what's the other one? Is that 65? So
70 to 65, yeah, and then to 39.
And then 39. So I think that might have been what kind of got him to where he became an undrafted free agent. But they talk about how he looks very athletic. I mean, like he ran a 4.43. I mean, shoot. I mean, that says speed all day. I think one of the things to knock on him, they'll say things like, yes, some of the route running looked lackadaisical. How's the route tree in itself? How extensive is it? Can he fit in a place like this? Excuse me. For me, if a guy, and we say this before, undrafted free agents, man, if you get an opportunity to show what he can do, he'll be afforded that opportunity. We'll get to see exactly what he is when he gets here. And so I tell you what, man, if they like him, hey, he'll be around for a long time. That's all it takes. But if somebody who was supposed to be projected, toward the end of the, the third day or whatever, shoot, he has a good leg up, man, to make the team. So I'm excited. I'm gonna see what he's gonna do while he's here. So,
and also too, you talk about special teams element to this. We talk about it all the time. How guys like UDFAs, day 3 guys, they need to kind of show something on special teams. He didn't do it a lot last year, but 20 attempts for 578 yards is a pretty dang good average as far as return men wise. So I mean, that's potential there too. Talking about, I know a lot of people are big Nico Remigio fans, but now Nico's got to go against a whole different crop of guys. And Elijhah Badger being one of them. Brashard Smith can also return as well. So there's going to be a big shakeup in that that receiver room, and special teams is going to be a big part of that reason.
Well, especially if a guy can do 2 things, especially brings that type of value to the table. That is absolutely going to be between him and Nico. The thing is, this guy's a bigger body receiver. You have to look and see how he looks on his route running. You're going to have to see if he can pick up the playbook fairly, quickly. That's another thing too. If he goes out and he shows what he can do, that's part of what competition is. It really is. And so he brings that element, to the table. So, we just had to find out. We just had to find out, Marcus.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the 4.43 there was great. I know, a lot of people were talking about, guys like Xavier Restrepo who ran like a 4.940, but then guys like Elijhah Badger kind of flew under the radar. And I will say, while his catches went down, JD, production still pretty good. 39 for 800 yards, 39 catches for 800 yards. Pretty dang good as far as yards per catch there.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, for sure. So I don't know as far as, Florida wise, what they did offensively. So that could be a lot of it too. So
yeah, I mean, I think their quarterback actually went pretty early in this draft. Graham Mertz. Yeah, I mean,
did he?
Yeah, he wasn't a guy that I thought that I liked watching in college, but nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Elijhah Badger. Okay, so the other one that a lot of people are talking about is the RAS of this guy, Brandon George, linebacker from Pitt. I believe only so. The background about him: inside backer, boasts a burly frame and outstanding pro day testing numbers. Obviously, you can look at his RAS score. A lot of people are showing his RAS score and comparing it to Leo Chenal's RAS score. George was a mainstay on special teams during his 6-year career, spending only 1 season as a full-time starter. That was a big thing. Not a lot of body of work as being a full-time starter, and that was one thing that it kind of – and also, I think he's on the older side a little bit, but again, the not starting more than 1 season was a big deterrent that a lot of experts were saying. Inconsistent in making reads and fitting up the run properly, but he's big and strong, can leverage his gaps when he's in position. He's a build-up runner who lacks the necessary burst of control from sideline to sideline, and he's a liability in coverage. But, however, George's testing measurables and special teams experience might appeal to teams big time, especially his how well he tested at the combine. So that was a big thing with him. JD, when you look at his body of work, and I guess when you look at a guy who hasn't started, right, he's only been a special teams guy, our team's looking at the measurables and be like, you know what, this guy actually has potentials. I mean, you see it in the numbers. Could this be something that can kind of pan out on the on a team? Is that worth taking a flyer on the measurables he has?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a guy, somebody said it over here, Dave Tote, probably loves the players we drafted and signed. Yeah. I mean, you're looking for him on the special team, side, to come in and make the team on that. I watched his film because I was looking at this guy before the draft. And just kind of, just peeking at him to see what they were talking about as far as like how he was, running plays, sideline to sideline, his fits, what his recognition is. I don't think he did a bad job. Can you say he might have been late on a few things? Okay. Yeah. Maybe I was looking for a faster recognition, what they was probably saying as well, to come up here and make plays. But I think he's a solid linebacker. I think once he recognizes, he goes and he'll hit you. And he did a decent job tackling too. So he could come in, man, and definitely make the roster. He could. I think everything is straightforward on special teams. Shouldn't be any issue and a problem. And from what he did up there at Pitt, and I don't really buy into guys being too old. I don't. I don't even know what that is.
I don't get that.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because the thing is, they get guys all the time that might be a little bit older. You know what they want? They want mature guys. They want guys that are going to come in and play. And the thing is, if he's doing really good, if he gets older, and all of a sudden he prices out, they don't want to pay that ticket. They look for a younger guy to come in. So I just sometimes I don't hear it. When I hear, the guy's older, they want, what? What does that matter? Can he play? Yeah, okay, sign him. Shoot. It's that simple. It's that daggone simple. So here we are. We're sitting there. We're talking about got Travis Kelce sitting there. How old is Travis?
34.
34. He's 34 years old, man. This guy could get Brandon George could get 2 contracts if he plays at a high level. That's what it is. So,
35.
Okay, 35 years old. So that in itself, like if a guy can play, he's still playing at a high level. He's taking care of his body. That's all that matters. I get, having a young guy, and then maybe, well, shoot, that young guy could price you out. This sucker might be like McDuffie now. He asks for $30-something, $30 million a year or more. So I don't know, man. I just sometimes I hear that and I'm just like, as long as he ain't 29 or 30 coming in, you know what I mean? If he coming to the league to 29 or 30, it's like, okay, I get it. But shoot. He looks like a relatively healthy guy. And so, like I said, I seen this film at Pitt. I think he's a decent guy. I think he's a decent player.
Yeah, I mean obviously they were really interested in him. He was one of the guys who did a top 30 visit, so he was one of the pre-draft visits they had with him. So obviously there was already this built up kind of a fascination for him. But yeah, the age is one thing, and then another thing I'm curious because this is something the experts have pointed out, or the draft experts. Him being a 1-year starter and being there for 6 years, and the only time he actually was the starter, he was more of a rotation guy until his final season. What does that say to you? And is that a deterrent?
That means he got better. That's what it shows to me. Shoot, and sometimes guys might be late bloomers. He might be a late bloomer. And so finally, if he figured it out, he looks a lot better. And he's like, okay, shoot, yeah, we needed some maturity. He needed a little time to develop. So hopefully we get him on the upswing. And this looks like it's where he's at, right? So, you didn't get to play before as much. So we're looking at the games. You're looking at, like I said, some of this. And obviously it had to do with the COVID year, guys and whatnot. But, hey, whatever it is, he comes in, he starts playing his senior year, and you got production. That's what you're looking for. So, now he got 80 total tackles, 29 assists, 51 assists, right? 29 solo, 2 sacks. So, come on, man. I think he's moving up. Stewart said that Joker can play. And Punt also, I don't know who he's talking. Still don't know who you're talking about. But I think this is good. This is a good move for us. Really.
And I know we look at the RAS scores, but again, this is a UDFA guy, so yes, there's obviously a lot to love. There's potential there with the guy who's scoring up the wazoo like that with his scores. I mean, 9.98. Leo Chenal was one of the a workout warrior. He got a 9.99, I believe. So a linebacker who's athletic. Who doesn't love one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is probably my favorite one. I know it's a punter and not sexy. I know people aren't really but Eddie Czaplicki, I think that's how you pronounce it. Czaplicki. So USC's first ever Ray Guy Award winner. For all of you who don't know what that is, Ray Guy winner is pretty much the Heisman for punters. Ray Guy, longtime Raider, one of the best punters of all time, if not the best punter of all time. First team All-American by The Athletic, making him USC's second ever punter to be named an All-American first team, which is pretty interesting. USC ranked first in the nation in net punting for 45.54 yards. He led the nation in percentage of punts inside the 20 for punters with a minimum of 30 attempts. 24 of his punts were inside the 20, 9 were inside the 10, and 4 inside the 5. And this is the big thing. He recorded just 1 touchback. JD, you were a special teams coach on top of being a phenomenal tight end. What are you looking at when you look at the punter, the punter statistics, right? Like the 24 punts inside the 20. What kind of stuff are you looking for that's like, ooh, okay, this is interesting. This is what I want from my punter. And look at the average yards per punt, the amount of yards he's punted, which I didn't even know was when I looked at his stats, JD, I didn't even know they collected stats like that for punters. Just collect the amount of yards, total yards.
Yeah. I didn't know the total yards either. But everything else, average and stuff, I do see.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What's some good averages? And also too, when he said 20-yard, 24 punts inside the 20, 9 punts inside the 10, 4 inside the 5, and 1 touchback. This shows me he has accuracy, in his punts as well. I want to know how much of his timing, as far as the whole action and the transition of it. But if you watch a guy, you have me going and looking at some film on this punter, okay, and seeing exactly what his kicks look like. But I think, man, to be honest with you, this is there's definitely an indication of it. Inside the 20, inside the 10, there's accuracy right there. And so sometimes you can put a spin on the ball. Sometimes you can just make a thing drop right there. Or if you're trying to corner kick certain people, is another thing as well. That can also indicate hang time, Marcus. That's another thing. That's what I was talking about. But to bring a punter in, okay, competition, man. Look, you don't want nobody sitting pretty and nice, just think everything's all right. Coming in, mini camp, yeah, I'm good, I'm okay. Like, now get your tail up. Hey, we got some reason. We got somebody. So you won't call him the punt, whatever. The punt guy, but hey, the sucker right here, man, could make you hit the highway.
Yeah, we have a punt god on the team, and now we got the punt guy on the team because Ray Guy award winner.
Ray Guy, yeah.
But so I mean, just upon your kind of analysis on when you think back to Ariza last year, did anything stand out to you? Did anything stand out to you? Be like, obviously Townsend was a badass punter, right? And I don't think anyone can argue that's why he got paid all that money he got at Houston. But Ariza wasn't bad, right? He was a renowned guy coming out of college, but Ariza wasn't like I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be like a badass. I do remember a lot of touchbacks. I don't know. I'm not looking at stats or anything here. But is there anything to you that kind of stood out about Ariza, versus why it's good to have competition? Because I mean, he wasn't that good last year. It was it's his job and that's it. I feel like having Czaplicki come in here is actually a good thing for multiple reasons, because you want competition, but also too, I don't think Ariza was good enough last year to say, hey, that was our guy and that's it. We're gonna leave it at that.
I don't know. I think he did a pretty decent job. I mean, I didn't see anything that really caused me for concern. I get that you want, the down the ball, but some of that could be on the gunners. Sometimes you got to get down there and you got to find the ball, and you got to stop it from going in. Did it look like some balls might have rolled in, and it's like, okay, I mean, what are you doing? This ball, you got to put this right there on a 5 or something, or hang time that you make guys get around the return guy. I don't know. I just nothing stuck in my mind, Marcus. Let me put it this way, to think, okay, maybe we need to make a change with Ariza. I think he did a pretty decent job with us. And here, the reason that we got him here is because we knew he had a big leg. That's what we knew. That's why they call him the punt god and all those different things and whatnot. So, but like I said before, man, this is something that they will find out during, mini camp and training camp, if this guy right here is a real deal. So.
Yeah, and this is a good point here. Canadian Canuck, too many touchbacks, but hopefully we won't need it, punter, too much this year with this offense. Just hold the ball for Bucker. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Rick Hendrickson says you should be a sport agent, JD. So looking at Ariza's stats here. So Ariza had, in the regular season, he had 9 touchbacks, 25 punts within 9 touchbacks in the regular season.
Oh, okay.
25 punts inside the 20. In the playoffs alone, he had 4 touchbacks, 2 in the Super Bowl, and then 1 in each game before the Super Bowl. I guess why I think that, because I'm thinking about the Super Bowl. He had 2 touchbacks in the Super Bowl, but that was also just a disaster of a game. So not going to base everybody off that. But yeah, 9 during the regular season and 25 inside the 20. His net punt last year, 41.8.
41.8.
Yeah, that was his net on average.
Jeez. Okay. I don't think I gave too many A's out either on our special teams, but that was also
collective. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't. The only time I remember, the only time we ever praised him was that when he had that one-handed catch on that bad snap.
Oh yeah.
That was the one time we praised him.
That could have been. It could have been a disaster, but what you said, we were spoiled to have 15 years of Colquitt. Yeah, Dustin. We got to get Dustin on the show too, man.
Yeah.
Talk to him a little bit. It might be a nice little thing to talk about, bring up some punters and whatnot, man.
That's true. Yeah, we asked about Czaplicki versus the battle, the great battle is going to be taking place this coming summer. Yeah, Czaplicki versus Ariza, punt guy versus the punt god.
Yeah. DC would be a good one to get out here, man. I'd reach out to him and see what he says.
You guys play with each other, right? Because he was there for. Okay, yeah.
DC's come hang out with the tight ends, man.
Really?
He used to come hang out with us every once in a while. We took him on our wing. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
When they won the Super Bowl, the first one against the Niners, the first time around, my buddy was a videographer on the team, and he said, like, at the after party, everyone was partying with everybody. even the videographers. And he said somehow he got wound up with Colquitt, and they had stogies, and Colquitt. He said Colquitt was a little tipsy. Colquitt goes, man, we've been through some dark times, my man. And my buddy was like, oh yeah. He goes, I've seen some stuff, man. I have seen some stuff through my times here. So it was like a culmination for him. It was like a culmination of like all the years he put into Kansas City, and finally he got his ring. But the fact he was like, I've been through some dark times, my man.
Yeah. I would say absolutely, because he was all through that era. Because
he was with Herm, or not Vermeil. He was never with Vermeil, right? He went from Herm, right?
No, Herm, yeah. Herm. So I played with Colquitt for 2 years, and then he went through all of that, man. Shoot.
The Pioli wiretapping teams.
Yeah, oh man, jeez. Yeah, he's seen it all, man. He's one of those. You see the vet, the movies, and he got a eye patch on, and he's sitting over in the corner in the dark, and he's telling you stories. That's Colquitt, man.
Yeah. So I would say based on, we can go back like from the guys who crossed over with you, who crossed over to Pat, or kind of DJ and Ali and Colquitt. All three of those guys crossed over with you, and today we've had the other ones on the show. Colquitt would be the last one to connect. To get the final connection from the old days to the new days.
Yeah. They were all young pups when they came in, man. All young pups. Those guys, man, all good guys, man. I love them dudes.
I'll hit up because I think Tynes and Colquitt are close. So I'll hit up Tynes and get Dustin's contact information to get him on the show. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, too, I mean, you guys, I think there's a picture when we did have Tynes on the show. There was a picture of you and him celebrating after a kick. So I mean, you did get a lot of special teams time with those guys on the PAT and all that stuff.
Well, the thing is, like I told you, like DC would hang out with us, but also too, I would be on the field goal protection.
Yep.
On the end, and I did a lot of that. But those guys, I always go down and go mess with those dudes. You know what I mean? I always think, man, the punters and the kickers are, they're really good guys, man. So, but yeah, those guys would always come hang out with us. So Billy Baber and Lawrence Times are really good friends. So they all hung out with us. Colquitt, when he came on the team, come and hung out with the cool kids, me and Tony and all the other tight ends, and so. Yeah, those guys, man, was always good guys. Good guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And I remember we had Tynes on the show. It was, I think that was the game where we had him talk about the Butker injury when we ended up signing Matt Wright for the first time around. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.